What is up, people of YouTube and maybe Instagram, depending on how this is posted? We have Abby is back. She's very excited.
Yeah. It's been a ride.
It's been a ride. I don't think she's been on really since California, or
Like 2 years ago.
en route to California, from California to here. It's been a minute. Yeah. And I think what we're mostly going to be talking about is, I don't know. We've been thinking about what we're going to be talking about. We don't really know. So we're just kind of put the camera, turned it on, and...
And this is our scenery from our new house in Tennessee.
Yes.
With our barn and our saddle. With
this whole back here, that is off our front porch.
Mm-hmm.
And we were going to do this in my office, but I looked outside and I was like, it's raining, and it's actually kind of cool outside, so let's do it out here.
Mm-hmm.
And be cold.
I'm very cold.
It's not that cold.
Okay.
She said, okay. And she's like shaking over in the corner. Like, what the hell? But I think this is going to be starting more video like this, podcast style again. Mm-hmm. Do more of this for 2023. Because 2022 in a nutshell was just like a hand grenade went off into a room and whatever happened, happened. Quick, 30-second breakdown. We were in California. We packed everything up. We got engaged. You took one trip.
I did take one trip.
I took, I guess if
2
you
months
count,
before you.
I guess if you count flying, I took 3 trips.
In 2 months.
In the course of 2 months, yeah. One with a wagon with one Penske truck, then one with my dually, and then one with an airplane that I got stuck in Chicago for
a day.
And then I ended up having to spend the night in New Jersey before I came here. So that was fun. I don't know if I've ever talked about that. That was awesome.
Stressful for me, but awesome for him, apparently.
It was terrible.
Yeah.
I was drinking the entire time in Chicago. Anyway, then you and I both have new jobs.
Yep.
That we started in
Mine a month
in December.
ago, almost.
Mine's 2 weeks ago now.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I now work at Borla Performance Industries, welding mufflers and intakes. So...
Yeah.
Yay.
And I work at a Ford dealership in the Tri-Cities area in Tennessee. Yes. I work at a Ford dealership. If it makes it better, it's a Chrysler dealership
it's irony.
as well.
That's all it is.
It is very ironic.
It's straight. Bow tie guy works for the thing that circled the problem.
I personally don't like any new vehicles either, so...
Our dog's poking her head out the window.
Yeah.
We have a live audience today, is our 2 dogs.
Here, I'll video both of them for you so you can see.
But...
There's one. I don't know if you can see him with the glare. There's his face. Yep, there he is, right? There. And then the other one, you can see her nose, right?
Holly!
There.
Hi, baby.
Yep, there they are. But yeah, so that whole thing is happening now. So I get to work there. The Nova is in 1,000 pieces right now. The whole front end's in 1,000 pieces in a one-car garage.
We have to move everything to close the door.
The shop is over there. Mm-hmm. It is in process. There's a concrete foundation and dirt all around it. So...
And Boss
and a lot of piles of dirt and gravel everywhere.
Boss is the company that's building it, and it will be pre-made
Boss Buildings,
to drop it off at the actual location once the foundation is finished.
So there's a couple local, a local contractor family is building the concrete pad and doing all the leveling of the foundation. Mm-hmm. And then Boss Buildings is the company that's going to come in. It's a prefabbed building that they're going to basically put up in 2 days. 2 days. And once that's up, then it'll be done. And then we're gonna wire the whole building and put everything that we want in it.
Yep.
It's gonna have a bathroom. It's gonna have a kitchenette. It's gonna be a pretty cool building when we're done with it. So.
And then I get a welder.
Yeah. We all get a welder. We all get a welder.
Yeah, but I'll be the main welder.
Potentially, yes.
Okay, that trailer should not have held shit. Nothing. Nada. Should not have taken your car across
There
the
is
country.
by far enough welds on that trailer to hold everything.
It shouldn't have held anything.
It holds everything. It's fine.
Should not have held
You know what?
anything.
It'll hold for like 20 years. It'll be fine. It'll be fine. I welded it. I know it's good. Okay? I know this is quality welds.
Welder says no. Yeah, okay.
It
Mechanic,
is
sit down.
fine. It is fine.
Drink your coffee.
It's water.
Okay.
Agua. But yeah, so I don't know. I mean, what makes the most sense? Should I talk about me going from Chicago or why I was in Chicago?
You can.
So, I don't think I've ever really talked about this. I posted maybe a little bit about it when I was in Chicago itself. But the last trip that we made, it was in September, right? Is when I went.
Yeah.
I flew back with my mom to California because we still were
Packing.
My dad was the last one in California.
Getting everything prepped.
Getting everything packed and prepped. So my mom and I flew back for basically a long weekend, basically to help load everything up, and then I was going to fly back here, and then they were going to drive the Penske truck and trailer out. And so we ended up, I stayed, I think, for 3 days about. I was in California, basically just helping pack. It was probably 12, 13-hour days. It was fun. Got everything all packed up, and yeah, got it all packed up, and then I flew out like Monday morning, I think is when I flew out, and it was Sacramento to Chicago to Asheville, which is about an hour that way.
Yep.
And that's the closest airport that we have. That's a national airport. And so I flew to Chicago, and I literally landed, and they had like this torrential downpour of rain in Chicago. It was terrible. Literally like sideways rain. It put like a foot of water on the ground. Like that's how much rain it was.
Yeah.
And so I had a connection that was gonna be like in 2 hours. That connection went from 2 hours to 3 hours, 4 to 5 to, well, you might get there. And I was like, okay, well, and it ended up me leaving Chicago at like 8 o'clock at night to New Jersey because they couldn't get to Asheville from there because the flight that I was going to take from Chicago, they canceled. So I ended up flying to New Jersey, and I spent the night in New Jersey, and then I flew out that morning, Tuesday morning, to Asheville and back home. It was absolutely terrible. Like, I spent probably 14 hours in the Chicago airport, it felt like. Just basically just hanging out, not doing anything because I couldn't do anything.
Well, and at one point you were telling me that you wanted to just rent a car because that
Literally.
would have been faster to just drive from Chicago to Tennessee.
Literally, when they said I was going to transfer
Oh, my
flights
goodness.
to New Jersey, then to Asheville, because that was the original plan, was for me to get into Asheville at like 12:30 at night. So I was like, okay, let me do the math here, because it was like 2 o'clock, and I was like, if I rent a car, and we basically cancel my flights, the rental price would be the same as my flights, and I would get there at the same time. I would just be driving for like 10 and a half hours in whatever, in some Ford Fusion or something. And I thought about it, kind of jokingly said it, and then I was like, okay, that doesn't make sense to do that. And then ended up,
Waiting
and
got a flight.
then I ended up
Finally.
spending the night in New Jersey, which
Yeah.
I'm sorry for anyone that lives in New Jersey. It's not a very pretty place. I did get to see the skyline from Newark Airport for New York City across the I don't know what river that is, the Hudson, I guess.
Hudson.
I guess that's the Hudson. I don't know. But yeah, I got to see that, so that was kind of cool when I left. But yeah, it was just a cluster and a half. So I guess that was a good way to end my
Traveling.
moving out from California is to be stuck in Chicago and
So, yeah, needless to say,
in
the
New
people that are
Jersey.
asking if we're going to be visiting California anytime soon, it's a hard pass.
I'm scarred.
It's going to take a lot of getting back and settling down till we actually visit family and friends.
And I don't know about you, but after driving 2 trips cross country, 2,600 miles, by like the 3rd day, you basically are like drinking like caffeine,
straight
energy,
drinks,
and ibuprofen because your body's sore
well,
just
your
from
butt
sitting
hurts,
because your
you're
butt hurts.
tired, and
Literally, when I was in the wagon, or 2001 BMW wagon, because I drove that the first trip out. Literally, by the end of it, I had the seat in such a way to where, like, once we finally got here, my dad jumped in it, and it was like, because that was the only way I felt like kind of halfway comfortable. I was like, this sucks. Like, you just kept moving it, and you're like, okay, this is somewhat kind of comfortable. That's fine. You're like all leaned back with your legs up and like gangster leaning kind of. Yeah. But you're like just driving on these roads, just straight freeways all the way down. It's, yeah, you're hearing dogs. But yeah. Stop. He's just looking at me like. But yeah, so that was fun. And then in the dually, the dually was actually more comfortable to ride in, believe it or not. Like, the seat itself is actually more comfortable than riding in the wagon.
Which is honestly sad. Like, really?
It's a 20-year-older thing, and it's
a bench seat.
And it's a bench. Well, that's why, because it's like a couch.
Exactly.
You're like, I can sit on this couch forever. This is fine.
When the BMW has like bucket seats almost, so it like cups you in.
They're a sports seat.
There's
so,
nowhere you're going nowhere.
They're a sports seat, so they're very comfortable when you're in the car for like a couple hours. But
yeah, it's raining again.
It's raining pretty good now.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that was.
Whoa.
So that was a fun thing that we had to do, and then on top of that we were hauling dogs the first trip, and then in the dually I had a cat with me,
yeah.
So that was fun. But we're all here now.
Yep.
Do you have any comments or escapades that were funny during any of that?
At one point we got lost, and we just took a different exit. His dad was driving the Penske in front of me and Colin, so I was in the middle, and then Colin was behind me. And at one point, his dad made an exit, and we all took a break and did bathroom breaks and everything like that.
Oh, we ate, yeah.
And ate.
It was
but immediately,
Nashville, I think.
His dad took a turn at one point or something.
So when we were leaving I think we went and had lunch.
Arby's?
I think it was Arby's,
I think it was
like
Arby's.
Nashville.
Yeah.
And we ended up.
And we were close. We were
close.
almost here.
It was the last day that we were. It was the last stop, last day.
Yeah.
And we got. And the way the exit was, because you had to turn left across the intersection, and he had a gap, and he just took it and went. And then
we were stuck for like 2 to 5 minutes, roughly.
Who let all the people out?
Yeah, it was truly everyone.
We ended
and their mom
we ended up turning right and making a U-turn. I don't know if it was a legal U-turn or not.
Because we made the wrong exit somehow, even though we...
No, we didn't make the wrong exit. We just were like 25 minutes behind him.
Right.
And we ended up taking like half an hour to end up chasing after him.
To actually catch up to him.
It was kind of a funny thing, and what can happen for 5 minutes? Like what a 5-minute break gap can create, and how long it takes to actually catch up.
But we caught up. We got there. We ended up that first trip. We got here at about 12:30.
Yeah, I think we got here like 4 days. I think we got across in like 4 days.
So
I think that's...
And we met his mom at the
storage.
Yeah, at the storage
North Carolina.
Because she wanted to get the Cougar off the trailer because the Cougar was behind the Penske truck on a trailer. So we got that car off, and she drove it from the dealership.
North Carolina. To
dealership.
Storage.
From the storage unit to the actual Flag Pond house.
Yeah.
And got that there. So.
Yeah, so that happened. And then the last trip, I think we got here... Did we get here in 4 days too?
I thought you guys did 3 because you wanted to get here before 4th of July.
So, and if you watch... So, both of those trips I have videos of, so if you look... I'll put them in the description below. I'll link them so you can actually watch what real time what was kind of happening. Yeah. But on my trip back in the dually, we went from California to Wendover, which is where Bonneville is. We stopped there because we were going to go to Salt Lake City that night. But what ended up happening was we got out at Wendover to put gas in the car, and we started walking around the trailer just checking everything. Because keep in mind, the dually had 50 miles on it at the time of us hauling, because we had the engine out literally the week before. The trailer never had my car on it until the night before we left.
Because he was still building the
Because
trailer.
I built the trailer literally like 4 days before we were supposed to leave.
So,
I was welding the spots for the ramps to come on. I had the ramps the week before we left.
Because it was a boat trailer until he turned it into.
That was a boat trailer I bought for $600 from a guy, and I put what the deck is. It's that trailer right there. What the deck is, it's the part that goes up in like a stacker trailer, where like the lift in a stacker trailer. That's the top of it. So I welded that on with brackets and plates and stuff like that. The welder doesn't appreciate my welds. Which
just don't approve of them.
She's very picky.
I appreciate.
She's very picky. I can put my truck on that.
I have to be picky. That's my job.
I can put my truck on it and it would be fine.
Why do you think my welds
fine.
don't get inspected? Because they don't need to be.
My welds have never been inspected, so
they
are
my
fine.
line to be inspected. So it's.
But yeah, so literally everything had nothing on it. We knew nothing about it. Literally, we got tires on the trailer the day that we left because we got to my brother's friend's house, and I was looking and I was like, those tires look a little low. Like, those tires are fine. They should be fine. If they're not, they're not. Well, we got there. They weren't. So we ended up having to get tires for the trailer. But to the dually's credit, it had no issues the entire way here.
Yeah.
Since then, I've had
2,600 miles.
Issues. 2,650 I think is like the actual from door to door kind of thing.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we got to Wendover, so keep in mind we changed the tires the day before. That means we never touched the wheel bearings. You should check your wheel bearings in your trailers before you go.
Always.
A wheel bearing completely died on the trailer. Like, it was literally
it
there
exploded.
was a gap in the
he sent
between
me
the hub.
pictures
Yeah,
when
it
happened,
was
and it
terrible.
looked exploded.
It was terrible.
I was like, "What am I looking at?" Because there's nothing there, and he's like, "Exactly, there's nothing there. There's no wheel bearing." And I'm like,
"There's supposed to be little rollers
oh
in
my
there." Yeah, no,
gosh.
they weren't in there. So we drove around Wendover for about 2 hours trying to find someone that had wheel bearings, and no one in Wendover had wheel bearings because it's a town of like 1,000 people. So we took the tire off that side of the trailer, unloaded my Nova, and we ended up driving from Wendover to Salt Lake City with the dually and the Nova
to get a new bearing.
To get to a Napa parking lot, and we replaced the wheel bearing in the Napa parking lot, and we repacked all the wheel bearings. So that was incredibly fun. And then we got to Wyoming that night, and then literally we went from Wyoming and we drove through the night
straight on to...
and we got to Tennessee. I think July 3rd. I think we left July 1st. I think is when we left.
Mm-hmm.
So we got in at like 8:30, 7:30.
Yeah.
I think about was the time. So yeah, that was really fun. I don't recommend driving that fast. But to the dually's credit, it didn't care. It got 8 miles a gallon, which that towing my Nova with and having probably 1,000 pounds worth of crap in the back. I mean, it didn't care.
And that was 2 months apart, which was the worst time that either of us had ever, with us being together for the 2.5 years before we moved officially. We had never been apart for that long, so that made it so much worse.
Yeah.
And so much more unbearable. So when it was all over, we were just happy to be together again and living and getting settled here and kind of rebuilding the foundation of our life. It's a good way to put it.
Yeah, it was great. And that was because we left in May. Yeah, we left in the beginning of May to get here, and we got engaged in February is when we got engaged. So you had that big of a gap, and then 2 months, and then I got here in July. So that was really fun. I got my wisdom teeth out.
Oh my god.
2 weeks before we left. I couldn't eat anything. I lost 20 pounds.
Poor thing looked like a lumberjack chipmunk. That's all he You look so sad. I felt so bad. Because that was the time when he was still back in California and I was here. And the pictures I got sent and the videos, it killed me. That was a good time.
Literally, I was just like, in the truck because my dad picked me up in his 3/4 ton Chevy truck, and our 70 3/4 ton, and I was just like in the cab, just like, this sucks. Like, my mouth just felt like it was just like exploded. It was a fantastic time. And then I couldn't eat anything for literally, I think.
You got all 4 taken out, right?
Yeah, I got all 4 taken out at once, and literally, I think it was like 2 or 3 days before we left, I actually started trying to eat real food, and then I had to get the little squirter thing to like wash out my mouth. That was
when your mom and I thought it was great because his dad didn't have anything food related for him prepped. Nothing. He didn't plan out anything.
We had no mothers at the house. We had no. It was me and him, and there was no mother person at the house.
So him
we're
and
like,
his mom
okay.
were like, "What did you get him?" I don't know. Well, did you get him any yogurt or soup or any? No.
Literally, I could open my mouth just enough to put a spoon in my mouth. That was terrible. It was. I just laid on my bed in my room for like 2 or 3 days, just like, ugh.
Yeah.
Because I was on drugs. They gave me Norcos. I don't like Norcos. They suck. I ended up just taking Tylenol and ibuprofen because I was like,
of
that's just
him
terrible.
talking
My
random.
mouth just felt like I think I posted on my story what my face looked like. It was bad. But yeah, so now moving forward in 2023, we don't have to do any of that anymore. No. So, we got some fun stuff going on.
Yeah.
I hope very soon. First off, we have a new house.
Which we absolutely love. And so do the dogs. And Tiny.
Her cat.
Yeah.
So, that's... Our house is where the shop's going to be. We have another storage shed that we may end up turning the front part of the storage shed into like a studio style.
And there's 8 acres, so we might be building a circle track just to have some go-karts or dirt bikes on.
So behind us, there's that barn. So basically where the barn is on this side of my...
Right here.
Pretty much from here back, there's a tree line back where that tree line is. That's where a creek is. So... pretty much everything on this side of the creek towards us, and then up to that tree line over there is all this property. So we have almost 9 acres to have fun with, so that is really fun.
Plus the shop has its own driveway for customers to come in and
so
out, and with our trailer and things like that.
Yes.
So we can get everything out and in
It'll
easily.
have its own driveway, which that'll be awesome. It'll have, like I said, it'll have its own kitchen area, its own bathroom, so that we won't be using this one, and we can have like shop barbecues and parties. So that'll be cool. Just a lot of fun stuff. We still gotta, find a lift at some point, welders, all that kind of stuff, air compressors, yada 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 yada.
Yeah.
But that'll come as we go, and.
But we're doing really well. We've settled in beautifully. We love it here. The weather, the people, the laws, the
it
pay. It
makes sense here.
Everything, yeah.
Gas is $1 less.
Yeah.
It's all just nice.
It's
all
better.
A lot slower.
It's just all better.
Yeah, you can go shoot guns wherever you want. You can get ammo wherever you want.
Well, the day
Walmart sells guns
here.
That's kind of cool.
It's like we got bounced back 10 years in California. Like 10. Yeah, it's like living 10 years ago in California.
It's good.
So
we have a lot of cool stuff hopefully coming up pretty soon. We have more collaboration stuff with companies. I'm not completely at liberty to say yet, but we will at some point. We have continued merch coming out, if you couldn't already tell. We got a lot of that stuff happening, so that's cool.
I got this for Christmas.
Yeah. I didn't
for
buy
Mama
it either.
Hooney.
I didn't even buy it.
No, it's from Mama Hooney.
It was from my mom. So you can check out anything that we have apparel-wise at our Etsy website. We also have stickers. I'll put that in the description below. You can get her stickers, my stickers, anything. You can pre-order her welding art and stuff there. That way, when we get a welder and stuff, you can pre-order it through her.
I will definitely be starting up my horseshoe art again.
So we can do stuff like that, and a whole lot of racing stuff coming because it's January, and we are going to be building some hot rod stuff for the Nova. Getting her car more sorted out so we can go cruising.
It just needs power steering. That's all it needs.
Tail of the Dragon is just over there.
Literally.
So once we
will.
get power steering, once we get some of the stuff together, we'll have pictures. We'll do
that.
video of us going through Tail of the Dragon. That'll be pretty cool. And a whole lot of other stuff that should be really fun this year. I also heard the Hot Rod Power Tour will be ending at Bristol Dragway.
Yep.
So that'll be cool for us, at least if we don't do Power Tour, to at least go to the last stop of Power Tour and hang out with some guys. So
plus there's a lot of fun things to do here, like Rod Run, which we
There's-
got to go with our friend Buddy that we met here, and so we'll be getting into that hopefully next year. So that'll be a really
in the
cool
spring.
thing. Yeah, spring. And if you guys have any ideas of what we should post about or what you guys want to hear about more and more detailed, please let us know. And then if you have any ideas for his car viewers or my welding viewers, let me know what to build, what to work on.
She's welding Camaro chick. The Daily Misfire, obviously.
Shocker.
I'll be doing more podcast style or like the history lesson videos. That last one I did seemed to do very well. It's one of my higher rated videos right now. We're very close to 500 subscribers, so literally if you jumped over from Instagram to watch this video, and if you stayed for this long, first off, thank you. Second off,
Thank you.
if each one of you guys on Instagram went over and just hit the subscribe button on YouTube, we would be instantly monetized. So, if you do that, and we get monetized on YouTube, we can have a lot more fun and a lot more car stuff as we go, because
Please watch his videos. They're hilarious.
I'm trying to be funny. We're trying to be funny here.
Every time I
and
get a notification, I'm like, oh, he posted something.
at the very least, on Reels and stuff like that, you can have fun with those.
Heck
So,
yeah.
like I said, be sure to subscribe. Hit the notification button so that you can see when I actually post. This year, I'm hopefully going to be posting as more than any other year. I've kind of gotten some of my levels figured out and trying to get some of my. We're kind of at that
Your
point
name
where
out there.
I figured out what I want to do. So
Yeah.
now we're just going to explode
Kind of
up.
skyrocket.
Um,
So again, the Daily Misfire, welding Camaro check.
with that, I think we're done.
I
so
think we are.
I am
good.
excited for this year, and we're going to have a whole lot of fun.
2023, here we come.
Yes, sir. All right,
We out?
we out.
Okay.
See y'all
Ready?
later.